Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back here together again. Okay, so, I know that this video is very late. I was lazy this weekend, I'm sorry, but you know, it's Thanksgiving week break, so I kind of get to be lazy a little bit. But, last week, the Santa Claus series premiered its first 2 episodes. I haven't watched this 3rd episode yet, so don't spoil anything yet. But with that said, the way I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna talk about both of the episodes and then just close it out, because I can't really give the good and bad on every episode. It's not worth it. So I'm just gonna review the episodes and then we'll be done. So the first episode I actually thought was pretty good. It introduced this sort of thing where, because this whole point of this series was Santa Claus was going to retire, and so it kind of starts out where he's kind of going to less people's houses and he's kind of going to towns less, and they even used the girl that was in the original film, Sarah, who gave him soy milk that was which he told him that was lactose intolerant. And the girl doesn't even remember him, and she's laying on her parents' couch and doesn't have a job. She's just a low-life person. But then at the same time, you know, I think this show also created like some interesting little aspects of it, where it's like it's kind of funny, it's kind of cool. And when they showed us the new elf characters, I was like, I get you can't, because all the elves are now grown-ups, and it's like you can't make grown-ups look like kids. So how do you do this in new time? You bring in new elves. And while I don't feel the same as the original elves from the original Santa Claus trilogy, I still thought these characters were fine. And then also the stuff they continue with Mrs. Claus and all the stuff with the kids, and thinking that you can't really raise kids in the North Pole because there's no one else like them here. And they even dive into some topics of Mrs. Claus doesn't have a first name. And they even do this whole little segment where Miss Claus is like, I do have a first name, it's Nancy. And then she's like, Nanta. Shanta. I'm like, oh my god, like, what is this? Like, she's just rambling out words. Like, it's just so funny. And then, you know, you kind of, and, you know, they kind of introduce this thing where Santa Claus kind of loses his magic, like his magic fails on him. And, like, that was a plotline that was in Elf, where Santa couldn't really go anywhere because no one believed in him anymore, and so they need to bring up the Christmas spirit. In this show, people aren't believing in him, so the magic is kind of failing him and kind of bringing his Christmas spirit down. And then they also do something of, they also have like meetings of who is nice, who is bad, and that, honestly, that's so clever, and that's what this show did a little bit well, is that they kind of found new ways to tell the Santa Claus story in clever ways that I thought was really interesting. And then, of course, the episode kind of ends where Santa Claus falls off the roof. Where he falls off the roof and you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Who's going to take on the role as Santa? So, that's my thoughts on the first episode. It was pretty good. Do I really have any issues with it? Not really issues I could talk about, but overall it was pretty good. So now I'll talk about episode 2 and then we'll be done. mean, I thought this was a good episode. I don't think it was better than the first episode. The first episode kind of gave us an introduction to all of this stuff, and you know, it also just kind of paid more attention to the fact that Santa Claus's kids that he had in the North Pole are the only kids that they've ever been raised in the North Pole. And I thought that was kind of an interesting aspect. And you also get to go and visit Charlie, and you know, he has a family now. He's living in Florida, and you know, he's thinking about retiring because it's what's best for his family, and people aren't believing in Santa Claus anymore. So it's like, what's the point now? And you start to realize that since, you know, Charlie has a family and he's visited them and stuff, you start to realize that Charlie hasn't told his wife about that his dad's Santa Claus, and that he can't really be Santa Claus because that's not a great place to raise children. So it has some reasonable points there. And so then when he finally retires, all the elves cry, which makes it warranted that they actually do care, because the other person, and it makes sense, because when you go into the first Santa Claus and then he goes back to the North Pole, no one wonders what happens with the other Santa Claus. Maybe it was a bad one, and we don't know what happened, but that's kind of my thoughts on the original Santa Claus, on this new episode of Santa Claus 2, of the second episode of Santa Claus. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on both of these episodes. What did you guys think of the Santa Claus's 2 episodes? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Or between? Let me know other thoughts down below in the comment section below. With that, okay, actually, no, wait. No scores. I'm not going to give you my scores for this one, because it's reviewing 2 episodes, but that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.